Let's use a couple of applications, a couple of examples to show you what I mean. Number one, fund administration. It is a very inefficient business. Companies have to rely on old software, a lot of paper, a lot of times sorting through papers, spreadsheets, Excels. The numbers never come out right, they never match up. It's just so inefficient having to deal with these constant changes in fund ownership as well as tracking portfolios. Well, smart contracts with software code can automate those tasks, can take hours off of these processes, and blockchain can lower the cost of verifying all that massive amounts of data and information that has to be verified. Take a look at the Expire white paper if you want an example. Another one, information services. So blockchain can speed up page loading from websites. Page loading is a big issue, by the way. For example, Google says your page is slow if it takes more than 1.5 seconds to load. Well, blockchain solves a lot of those problems because of internet availability. So if you want to know what I mean, take an example of the NOIA network white paper, where you can see how participants share their idle bandwidth and storage resources in exchange for tokens. Real estate. This is a really good example. Very complex industry, very old-fashioned, a lot of moving parts, a lot of players, a lot of people taking fees all over the place. Transactions are slow, they're risky, and if you've ever been involved in one, you know that they're painful. Well, blockchain can reduce a lot of that. Through smart contracts, we can replace intermediaries with a trustless system. We can automate a lot of the process. We can speed it up and lower the costs. I think there's plenty of companies using real estate, using blockchain and real estate. They're easy to find. Take a look. This is going to be one of the biggest applications, including the escrow side of it. Banking, although they're generally skeptical about new technologies, I see that banks are changing their tune. They're not willing to bank crypto companies or blockchain companies very easily just yet, but they are looking into adopting blockchain in their own industries to, again, reduce the cost of verification. So we're going to see, we're probably going to see definitely permissioned systems in banking with probably a lot more governance than other industry applications, but blockchain nonetheless. In escrow, I think I mentioned, this is kind of the obvious use case. You know, we have a smart contract that just determines if the money's there, then title transfers, it all happens automatically. You don't have to screw around with hours in the escrow office with an agent and lots of paper. Securities trading is a good example. And then legal, my business. And law firms are becoming more and more involved with this technology. There's an Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. It's got probably more than 14 members now. Law firms that have invested in the technology, helping to bring blockchain into the legal world. I will tell you that, as we've discussed in a different presentation, smart contracts hold a lot of promise in the legal industry for those tasks that can be routinely automated. That doesn't mean contract interpretation, doesn't even mean contract drafting. There's just way too much judgment that's involved in that. But we're getting there with respect to the more routine aspects. So final takeaways here. Number one, I'd say blockchain, as much as we say it's disruptive, it's also foundational, just like the next internet. We talked a little bit about crypto economics. Just understand that this crypto economic or mechanism design theory is really essential to a good blockchain-based company. We talked about lowering the cost of verification, but also the network effects in blockchain and how blockchain can reduce the cost of creating a big network. Talked about some market strategies and especially how to consider our grid market dominance versus availability to influence standards and regulation and figuring out what a strategy ought to be for a company. I did mention the 7 principles of blockchain economy. We talked about some examples. So that's it today for Blockchain Economics. I'm Roger Royse with the Royse Law Firm in Silicon Valley. Hope you enjoyed this presentation. That you'll tune in for the next one.